Hey guys, Sean here with Apollo. Today we're going to show you how to install the upgrade package for your Apollo Phantom. Now these are not intended to be necessary pieces, but can improve your riding experience and extend your scooter's lifespan. Please note this video is only applicable to owners of the first production run of Phantoms. Included in the upgrade package is a new display that's 67% brighter with double the refresh rate, a stronger reinforced steel kickstand that's 3 times sturdier, a new mode cluster, an improved ergonomic throttle system that's 25% more responsive, a newly redesigned front deck plate that seamlessly integrates with the rest of the scooter, and a new composite locking ring with increased flexibility and durability. As manufacturers of a premium high-end scooter, we want to ensure that you have the best experience possible. This package is a $200 value that we are providing for just the cost of shipping. To demonstrate how to install each of these components, we have our technician Luke to show us how it's done. Let's follow along.
In this video, we're going to be going over the installation process of the Phantom upgrade kit. The tools needed for the upgrade kit are cable ties, 5, 4, and 3mm hex keys, a screwdriver with a Phillips head, and a 1mm flush cutter. So the first thing we're going to replace is the display. The first thing we're going to do is remove all these cable ties, bunching the cables together. I'm going to be using flush cutters, but you can also use scissors. Make sure to be delicate to not cut any wire. Now that we've done that, we can unplug all of our quick connects. Like you can see here, we can then remove our keys and use a 3mm hex key to remove the mode cluster. We can just pull it off like this and let it hang to the side. We can then take our 3mm Allen key. We're going to remove our headlight, just 2 screws up top. Make sure to hold your headlight when removing the second screw. And we can pop both screws out and let this hang just at the bottom. We'll then take a 4mm hex key and remove the handlebar plate. I'm going to loosen the 2 top ones first. If they are too tight, you can use the widen also. Make sure to hold your handlebars as you're removing these screws. We'll then remove the 2 bottom ones. Make sure you pull your plate out with the last screw for it not to fall on the ground. Then you can let your handlebars hang. We'll then take a 3mm Allen key, remove our 2 bracket screws for the display. Same thing on the other side. You can hold your display as you remove the second screw. And it should pop right out like this. We'll now take our new display. Make sure to align the bracket with the 2 holes on the side. And this can be adjusted to preference, either more up or more angled toward you. Once you've adjusted your display to your liking, we can put our screws back. These can be tightened relatively tight. We can then put our handlebar back. Make sure to run these wires inside. We will then hold this here. We can then take our bracket, put it in place. We can hold it and put our first screw in. It just needs to be finger tight at first. We're going to insert the second screw at the bottom. For this one, we can take our Allen key. We'll then take our third screw. and then our fourth one. You can hold your handlebars against the back of the bracket to make sure to screw in the 4 screws properly. And to adjust the top too, make sure you've got your handlebars adjusted to your liking. Then we can tighten the whole bracket. After you've tightened your 4 screws, we'll move over to the handlebars. We'll remove the grip, the brake handle, and the throttle. First, we're going to remove the grip, then the brake handle, then the ignition. So it's this, you can just twist it off with force. There we go. We'll then use a 5mm Allen key or hex key to remove the brake handle. We can just pull this off now. Like this. We'll then take a 3mm Allen key to remove our ignition / throttle. Just need to remove the screw that locks it into the bar. And we can then pull this out. Up next, you're going to take your new throttle, insert it on the bar. Once you have it in place, take a 3mm hex key and tighten it just so it doesn't move. So there we go. We can then put our brake handle back on. If your brake line has come out, we just pull and put it back in like this. Make sure to leave enough space between your throttle and your brake handle for the mode cluster. We can then take our screw, 5mm Allen key, screw this in like this. We can now take our mode cluster, make sure the M is right side up. That means the wire is going to go from up and then through here on the way down to connect to the display. So we can widen this up, put it on here like this. We can then take our screw, take our 3mm hex key, tighten this up quite a bit. And of course, you can adjust all these components to your preference. Make sure to not tighten this too much because it is plastic holding the screw. This should be good. And we're going to pass our wire on down with the other one. Now we can reconnect all of our cables. We can take the shorter one here. For these 2 connectors, we can see the arrow on top, but on the bottom there's no actual arrow, there's just a point. We can also use the grooves on the inside of the connectors right here and right here. So just like this, a little force, there you go. These are color coded, orange and blue, orange and blue. We can take our orange one, we can match the 2 arrows, they align with the 2 grooves inside. Just a little force like the other one, and there you go. We can then take the 2 blue ones, we can match the 2 arrows together. Again, repeat the process, and there you go. We will now reinstall the light. After we've placed it here, we can take 1 screw and a 3mm Allen key. Just screw it in a bit. We can then take our second screw. There we go. We will then tighten this one. Now all that's left to do is zip tie all our cables back together and put the handlebar grip back on. We'll then take cable ties or zip ties. Make sure to leave enough wiggle room on your wires like this. We can then take our third zip tie, pass it all the way behind and up front right here. Three zip ties should do the trick, but if you feel you want it tidier or tighter, you can add more as you need. we can then use our flush cutters and cut the excess pieces. And there you go. Last thing to do here is reinstall a grip. So this can be just pushed in. And there you have it. All your handlebar installations should be completed. So with the new upgrade kit, we got rid of the ignition and the key. So how to turn on your scooter is pretty simple. We still press the M. As you can see, the display is going to come on and your throttle will work just like before. We can now remove the film of the display. With the new display, you're going to notice a higher refresh rate and a much brighter screen for when you're riding in the sun. So now for the second part of this installation, we're going to start with the lock ring. All you're going to need is a Phillips screwdriver. We're going to remove the one screw right here. Put that aside for now. We can then fold this latch down and we can squeeze this right out. We then take our new one, install it the same way, like this. We can then take the same screw and reinstall in the grooves. There we go. We can then fold our latch up and take our locking ring, put it onto the latch. And now for the kickstand installation, we're gonna open this up. We can take a 4mm Allen key, unscrew both of our screws here, put them aside. We can pull this off. We can now take our new kickstand, put it in place, take our first screw, start it off. We can then take our second screw, and we want to make sure these two screws are very tight because we don't want to put any more strain on the bracket. There we go. And that's your new kickstand. And for the last part of this upgrade, we're going to remove the front tray and replace it. All you're going to need to do is remove the two top screws and the two bottom screws. So we're going to take the Phillips head screwdriver, remove the two top screws. Now let's head under the deck and we're going to remove the two screws over there. These two screws right here. Put them to the side as we're going to use them with the new tray. Before we remove the front cover, we're going to need to loosen this up. So we're going to take a 5mm Allen key, just like this. We can then loosen it a bit more. We're going to pull our brake line through and then out. Now we can feed it from the back to the front, so let's head over there and pull it out. After our brake line's free, we want to gently pull it through here. Like this, we can let it hang. And now we'll need to remove these brackets right here. So we're going to take a Phillips screwdriver, remove the two top screws here. We can then put this on the side and do the same thing on the other side. Now all we need to do is remove these four screws right here to remove the light covers. There's one, and repeat the process on the other side. We can then take our new tray or new front cover and reverse the process. So I'm going to flip it over here. Start by installing the screens. Make sure to not tighten the screws too tight. as the threading is plastic and it will break. Do the same thing on the other side. There we go, and now we can install it on the scooter. We'll then take our light bracket, align it with our 2 holes on the tray. We can then take our first screw, this, just start it off. We can then take our second screw. Like the light cover, we don't want them too tight because obviously the threading is plastic. So that should be good. Let's head over to the other side. We can then align our bracket with the grooves. We take our screw. We can then adjust our bracket accordingly. Take our second screw. That should do the trick. We can now snap our front cover back on. Take our first screw, insert it in. We don't have to tighten it all the way as we want a little bit of leeway with the other screws. We can take our second one. There we go. Let's head to the bottom and install these 2. Now our last step is put the brake line through the deck out the back, so we'll just move this here. We can reinsert it into the hole and push it all the way out the back. If you're having problems with the line coming out the back, we can just remove this piece here. All we need is the Phillips head screwdriver, remove the top screw like this, and we have another one at the bottom that we'll remove. This one right here. We can just gently pull this off. Once you've found your line, you can just keep pushing it through here. Like this. We can then reinstall our cover. We can put the top screw first, then our bottom screw. There we go, and then you can reinstall the line on your caliper. We're going to pass our line through here in the caliper like so, then pulling this up, we're going to pass it under the forks like this, and then just readjust your brakes accordingly, and you can take your 5mm Allen key and tighten it up. And that should do it.
Alright guys, you successfully upgraded your Phantom. Now again, none of these pieces on their own are necessary, but they can greatly improve your riding experience. We hope you've been enjoying your scooter so far, and be sure to like and subscribe, and tag us in any photos for a chance to be featured. Thanks again for watching, and as always, ride safe.